If you've ever been hurt by somebody, you know it can be difficult to find forgiveness for them. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 forgiveness activities, but first, we're going to talk about the best way to even start the forgiveness process. So, here's how we start it. We start it by breaking down the situation into small, actionable pieces. This way, we can forgive a fight and not an entire divorce. It's too overwhelming to say, I am going to forgive my ex, I am going to forgive my boss, when there may have been years and multiple situations that actually need forgiven. So first, I want you to write out the story of what happened. Now, obviously, if it was a multi-year relationship, it can be really hard to write the whole thing. So begin to just create the list of things that you're angry about and work on forgiving the small pieces within there. So once you've gotten your story or your list of things that you're going to forgive, pick the one that's the easiest to forgive. You don't want to start with the big one. You want to start with the little one. And then slowly, as you take care of a whole bunch of little things that you were hurt by, the big thing becomes easier and easier because you're forgiving the small pieces. So now let's get into those 10 tools that you can use to help you forgive. The first one's journaling. Journaling is a really great way to understand your feelings, what happened, all the different layers that were in something. The more complicated something is that you need to forgive, journaling is actually really critical in peeling back those layers. What you uncover today might lead to something you didn't even realize tomorrow. And so really spend a little time each day journaling about the particular situation that you've picked. As you begin to really go, oh, okay, well, that's an aspect I didn't understand. Now I can forgive it. You can then use the rest of the tools we're going to cover to keep going deeper. Now, the second thing you can do is a Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness. It's called Ho'oponopono. And what the words are I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. What you do is literally just recite these over and over. You can use it as a mantra meditation. There's a giant healing power in this that I can't explain, but it is very, very beneficial. It doesn't even matter if you get those words in the right order or if you even leave one out. It still works. So what I would do is call to mind what you're working on forgiving and then begin to recite that prayer over. Even just a couple of minutes will be very beneficial. And then you can do that over multiple days to continue to gain a better impact. Now, the third thing is therapy. Sometimes when something is really difficult and really painful and we've really been wounded, we need help getting through it. We can't do it on our own. And so working with a therapist is very beneficial to help you see things that you just can't see otherwise because we get stuck in our own stuff. Now, the next thing you can do is EFT, emotional freedom taking or tapping. You may have heard it. I love this technique when paired with journaling and meditation. Here's why. It actually calms your amygdala, which is your emotional fear center, and allows you to get to that rational part of your brain. So after you've journaled and uncovered your emotions and processed them a little bit, you can then turn to tapping on what you journaled to make a bigger impact. It will help you rewrite what has been going through your emotional body. It's also really great for calming you down as you're going through this. If you're still in the angry phase of forgiveness, then tapping can just help you calm and release those emotions. I highly recommend Brad Yates here on YouTube. His videos are fantastic and he's been doing it for a while, so just about every subject is covered on his channel. Now, the next thing you want to do is energy recall. anytime we are in a relationship with somebody, whether it's a partner, a work relationship, a child, any situation, you are exchanging energy with the other person. The problem is when it's done and we haven't reclaimed our energy, it can actually be very harmful to us and prevent us from forgiving them. So what you're going to want to do for this is have your spirit team, your spirit guides, assist in cleansing and clearing the energy of you and them. So you're going to start with their energy that is with you, and you're going to imagine it leaving your body and going into a ball where your guides clear it. And then the guides are going to return it to the other person's guides to do with what they need. When that's done, you're going to call your energy back from the other person. Again, you're going to have your guides cleanse and clear it before it fully reintegrates with you. For this one, you can imagine that happening many different ways. You can imagine as a fishing pole coming back in, a drawbridge pulling back up, or a beam of light pulling back up, whatever works best for you. Now, I actually have a meditation here on YouTube that'll help you do that. I'll put the link in the description below. Once you've called your energy back and gotten rid of theirs, it becomes easier to forgive because you're literally not carrying them with you anymore. Which leads us to the next thing you can do. When you've gotten rid of their energy, you might need to have a closure ceremony. Sometimes we struggle with forgiveness because we haven't fully released everything yet. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do closure ceremonies. You can take a walk and dedicate that to the release. You can write the name down on a paper and how you felt and put it in a bowl of water to dissolve. You can also have a candle ceremony where you light a candle and you announce that you're releasing and do what you need to do, whether it's burn it, rip it into shreds, safely burn if you're going to burn, and then release it. And then close out the ceremony by calling your energy back again and thanking the universe and this person for the lesson that they're providing. And now you have closure. Now, the next thing that you can do is have present moment mindfulness. Now, this is really beneficial when you get into that habit of negative thinking or ruminating and you just can't get your mind off this situation. Present moment mindfulness is where you're going to draw your attention back to the here and now. You can do that by following your breath, just watching it move in and out. You can watch a lit candle, just stare at it. You can notice the colors on a plant. The idea is that you distract yourself from the ruminating by focusing on something that's in the here and now. Now, the next thing that you can do is physical release. So just because you may have emotionally forgiven somebody doesn't mean that your body has actually also let go of that pain. Our bodies hold memories, so we have to release that also. Now, a couple of tools that will help with this. Tapping, which we talked about earlier, will help, but so will things like yoga and massage and different types of energy work. Now, the ninth thing is the 4 Agreements. The 4 Agreements is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I use this as a forgiveness tool because if you are living the 4 Agreements, which are don't take things personally, be impeccable with your word, do your best, and don't make assumptions. If you're living those, it is really easier to begin to process what happened. When you're not taking something personally and you understand that the hurt really had nothing to do with you and it was about the other person, it's easier to forgive them. Now, I know it can be harder to live these than it is to just talk about them. So I have an entire book study on that book right here on YouTube. I'll put a link to the playlist below. And number 10 in forgiving somebody is soul healing. Sometimes there's more than we can actually see. So if you've tried everything, you've gone to counseling, you've done everything I've mentioned and more, and you're still struggling, there might be some sort of soul issue that needs healed. This could be anything from old spiritual contracts to curses to energy fields and much more. So what happens if you find yourself in that position? You've done everything and now you really don't know what to do. Well, that's where it's best to actually work with a trained healer to get in and see what may or may not be blocking you and appropriately remove it. It's another one of those things where sometimes it's just hard to see our own stuff. If you want more information on what soul healing is, I'll put a link to an article on that below. Now, I would love to hear from you. What's your favorite forgiveness activity? Jot that in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you say. If you did find this helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next time I publish a video.